Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Scary Stories by the Campfire. We're your counselors this evening, Jason,
And Jeremy.
and we are going to be talking about a story. It's a truly horrifying story. It is a story called The Exorcist, Part 2, The Heretic. I kept thinking that this movie was called The Heritage for some reason. But The Heretic, and let me tell you,
It was bad.
it was bad. It did, and it rightfully so. This is considered like one of the worst movies. I think there was an actual list I saw for like this movie came out in 1977, and it was completely just it bombed. It was really, really bad, and it is considered one of the worst movies ever made. And they on Wikipedia they got a list, and they do it by decades. So they have like the 70s, and this is on that list for like the 10 years from like 70 to 79. This is on that list.
And see, that's horrible.
What do you mean this movie's horrible? Did we watch the same movie, Jeremy? We even talked about like what's the worst movie that we've seen so far? Vacancy 2. Well, guess what? Not anymore.
I don't know about that one.
No. What? No, this movie was worse than Vacancy.
I don't think it was
This
worse than Vacancy.
it Jeremy. Jeremy, do you even understand what this I had to go back and Wikipedia the synopsis to this thing because it was just so
Well,
bleh.
give me the Wikipedia synopsis.
Okay, first of all, the Wikipedia synopsis. Oh, hello guys out there. Hello. Hi. Welcome to the show. Um, the pretty much what it was let's break this down. We don't have Rick here to break it down for us and talk about the really good behind the scenes stuff. But so we have this priest, and he is yet again a man with he's losing faith.
I thought you meant this
So
priest that I have as our backdrop.
no, not that priest.
A
He
priest
wasn't
of the
even a priest.
locust.
He's not even a priest. That guy was like a scientist. He was a scientist. But um, so we have a priest who is looking into the death of Father Marion. Was that his
Marin.
name? Marin? Because there was actually two priests in the last movie, but they never mention the other one. If they did, they mentioned that he died too, but no one cares.
No one cares he threw himself out a window and tumbled down some stairs.
He was I would fathom to say that between him and Reagan, he was like the focal point.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy who had lost his faith in the religion and the higher powers and whatnot, and then
Absolutely.
sacrificed himself in the end. But no mention of him. If there was, it was just like, oh yeah, he died too. But no one cares. Let's go with the other guy. And so you get to see how apparently, from what I understand, Pazuzu possesses the people who have some sort of healing ability. Let's call it that. It's like a healing ability, and the church was wanting. What's this guy's name? Father something.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't have my stuff up.
It's
I just got
Father Philip Lamont.
Lamont. So they task Father Lamont with figuring out, I guess I guess priest what Marin?
Yes. How do you keep forgetting this?
I don't know. This movie bored me that much.
You
I
forgot it last week too. Like
yeah
it is not that
yeah
hard.
Marin. That's because he was like I said, he was like secondary priest in that one, and now all of a sudden he's a focal point. But apparently he was talking about um these people who have this healing ability, right? And I guess he was writing these notes, and after he died, the church got the notes, and they were looking at it, and they're like, "Oh, this is blasphemous! This is blasphemous!" And Marin. Now, PJ just put that up there, so I can remember. Yay! So, so they want him to investigate or whatever, and do some digging, and it seems like, I guess, Pazuzu is um my god, this is horrible. This movie is so bad. This must
Azuzu was.
hold on. I'm bringing up my Exorcist. There it is. I'm trying to bring up my like little Wikipedia thing here because I want to get these names right, especially the um Kokumo
Kokomo.
Kokumo. No, not Kokomo. It's Kokumo, played by James Earl Jones, which is
Way down in Kokomo.
so. They okay. So Marin had exercised Kokumo, and they find all this out. At least uh, Father Lamont finds this out through that stupid little blinky light thing.
Oh yeah.
That stupid little blinky light thing. They have like little brain waves that synchronize with each other, and they can see each other's thoughts and who's it's and whatnots. It's
Yeah. Your brain
um,
waves control the flashing of the light.
but apparently Reagan has this healing ability, as you get to see in one portion where she gets this autistic girl to talk. Like the girl's never spoken before or doesn't speak or whatever, and gets her to talk. That's her healing power. Her healing power is that she can get into someone's mind and heal them, I guess, from the inside, something like that. But then I guess that's what Pazuzu does. Possesses people who have this healing power and tries to destroy them from within or whatever. And then the movie went off rails in a really dumb way with the house collapsing. Um, I don't know whether the priest was possessed or not. It didn't seem like nothing in the synopsis says that he was possessed, but he sure acted like it. She's with me. Mm. It's like you
Nothing
weren't.
in the synopsis can make this movie make sense.
Nothing in this movie makes sense. I hate to tell you, this movie is. It's bad. It's bad. I mean, you go from a movie that's considered one of the it's an cultural icon. It has been preserved as like, you know, in the Congress Library or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, where they keep films and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
it's
Library of
part of
Congress.
yeah, the Library of Congress. You know, and it's this freaky movie, and you come straight off of that into this one, and this is by far one of the worst movies I'd ever seen. And it apparently was so bad. This movie came out in 77 that this movie was so bad that it literally put The Exorcist on hiatus until like 1990 when they released The Exorcist 3.
Yep.
When that one came out, it has nothing to do with this one. They don't touch this one. I mean, this wasn't even a book, as far as I'm aware.
No, but apparently, everybody turned down. All the cast and crew were very much opposed to a sequel, and Linda Blair and Ellen Burstyn turned down repeated offers by the studio, but Blair eventually agreed. And apparently, the script went through various rewrites, and was one of the reasons why it ended up a total mess. But she was contractually bound to a sequel at that point, so she couldn't get out of it anymore. So this script actually probably went through more rewrites than anything, and that's probably one of the reasons why it had so many issues. Why it has so many issues.
And just the way it was shot. I mean, one minute you're getting like locusts attacking a field and some kid swinging his little sling around, and then like they don't even build in anything. All of a sudden, it's just like woo 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 woo, and Linda Blair's tap dancing on stage. It's like, wait, what? We're time jumping, and we're not even getting, It's just weird.
Linda Blair called this one of the big disappointments of my career.
Yeah. See, this one wasn't even. This one wasn't based off of a book, but apparently the third one is.
William Peter Blatty, the author of the original novel, reportedly had to stifle his own laughter upon viewing the film at the premiere.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Then again, I can't say anything. We were laughing the entire time we watched this movie on Monday.
It was bad. I mean, we even got to like we ended up getting to like the last like 20 minutes of the movie, I think, and I'm like, are we done yet? Are we done yet? Are we done yet? Raven bowed out like halfway through the movie. She was like, I'm done. I can't do this no more. Not because of any sort of we were actually I'm gonna take it back a little bit. We were having like some sort of issues on our end. I didn't have the laptop with me, so we couldn't watch it over the laptop. So we were using our phones, and it was a garbled mess. There was like certain scenes that would just kind of like lock up and freeze, and um, especially when they're doing the weird chanting, type of thing, and then it would lock into that. So you're going, and you're just like, oh my god, just we were having to switch phones back and forth trying to figure out what we got, and I think we finally got working on mine. But by that point, she was like, I'm done with this. I'm out. I'm out. This movie's so horrible. I'm done. She was she wasn't really like into The Exorcist. She's not like one of those kind of big demonic movie type gals, um but she went through The Exorcist with me, and that was really cool. But then when we got to this, it was just, yeah. She didn't tap out because she was scared. She tapped out because it was lame. I can probably guarantee that. It was, like I said, there was a couple times I even tried to bow out. I was like, I can't do this no more. I could be doing something else.
Heck no, techno. But I'm going to have to fact check this one. But apparently, this film, along with The Exorcist 1 and 3, were Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite films. And one of his surviving victims recalls seeing him watch this film repeatedly in a trance-like state.
This movie.
This movie.
This movie.
This movie.
Of course, this would put you in a trance-like state. You're sitting there going, "What's going? I have a hunger for human flesh. James Earl Jones dressed up as a giant locust. This movie is so stupid. I mean, even some of the, even if we're taking away the fact that it literally just takes the fear right out of Pazuzu, which ironically is a stupid name, but I can't say that without like sound trying to. You will feel the wrath of Pazuzu.
God bless you.
Pazuzu. But this movie takes the whole thing out of it. There's like no fear of Pazuzu at all. And not only does the story just not make sense, but I'm sitting there watching it. Reminds of the dessert at BJ's. LOL. What are those things called, Jeremy?
A Pazuki.
A bazooki. When are those sales? When do you guys do the?
The what?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought you guys had like a day where like
Oh,
they're
it's
like
every Tuesday.
every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Every Wednesday, it's Pazuzu Wednesday. You get one free. You get one free Pazuzu with your meal. Um, but even I'm sitting here looking at it. We're picking this thing apart. Like you have the birdhouses because apparently, okay, this was my biggest complaint about the movie. Okay, this movie takes place what? I don't even remember how many years afterwards. Let me see here.
Well, while you're
You
finding that, I gotta show you. I gotta tell you something.
oh this movie takes place 4 years after the original. All right, go ahead.
In one scene that lasted 8 minutes and 10 seconds, the camera cuts to close-ups of Father Lamont, in which he's neither moving nor speaking 26 times.
Yeah, I did notice there was a lot of him just sitting there, like not doing anything.
And just staring into space.
But so this movie takes place 4 years after the original, and it definitely feels like a whole new era. I mean, in the original, it's done very well. It's in the one singular location, which is the house. I mean, they have a hospital visit, and you can see like church and some outside, but the primary action is in that house. Primary action. This one's all over the place. You get the climax in the house. You get the little bit here in the like what is that place? It was like a psychiatrist place, but they had like
Oh yeah,
every every door was automatic, slid open like it was a spaceship. Just
all the windows and stuff.
yeah, you could see like into other people's rooms and stuff. It's weird. And then she was staying with her keeper up in New York. Oh, Jeremy, can you yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it here in a moment.
What?
No, I was just gonna check the time on something. So she's staying in New York. She's staying in New York with her housekeeper, which I assume is the same lady from the first movie. Is that the same
Yeah, it's the same act.
character?
It is. It's Sharon. So Sharon was actually asked to come back after they couldn't find a male actor suitable enough to play the psychiatrist role. So they moved the actress who plays the psychiatrist, who was originally supposed to play Reagan's mom, into the psychiatrist role, and they asked Sharon to come back. So, yeah, that was a good time too.
Yeah. So she's staying with her in New York. From what I understand, it's New York City, right?
Yeah,
And they got this swanky skyscraper apartment.
I know it was nice.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't care what era this takes place in. That is a safety hazard. Did you see the gapping in the fence?
Oh
Like they
yeah.
have this. They have like this. They have this. They got the room up there, and it kind of goes out like I wouldn't say like a balcony, but it goes out to like kind of like a rooftop, and there's like a fencing or like a railing system that goes around the top. But apparently, whoever contracted to build this thing, I don't know, left maybe like a 6 foot gap. Anyone could just walk off the edge of the building, just whoop, there it is, and that's it. That's it.
She almost did
Right? Yeah,
a
she got
couple of
possessed
times.
and nearly walked off. But um, so yeah, so that happened.
Oh god. And then she had those birdhouses.
Yeah, she got those weird like extra dimensional. Okay,
Phantasm style birdhouses.
okay. I got this now. I got this now. Okay.
You got it.
So yes, I got this now. I was doing it while we were talking. The okay, so like I said, she was staying in New York, and I'm assuming her psychiatrist was in New York, right?
The big fancy
But
spaceship.
yeah, but every time you turned around, they were going back to the house, which was in Georgetown, Washington D.C., right?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure there was a scene. I'm pretty sure. Just let me hear me out. I think there was a scene where the priest, the father, shows up to the psychiatrist office, and this is kind of how the synopsis on here says. Uh, Father Lamont visits the institute, but his attempts to question Reagan about the circumstances of Marin's death are rebuffed by Tuscan, who believes that Lamont's approach would do Reagan more harm than good. Okay, so in an attempt to plumb her memories of the exorcism, and specifically the circumstances in which Marin died, Tuscan hypnotizes Reagan, to whom she is linked by a synchronizer, a revolutionary biofeedback device used by two people to synchronize their brainwaves. Okay, so they're in the process of doing this.
Yep.
Okay, so I guess the father show or the priest, Father Lamont shows up and wants to question Reagan, and the psychiatrist is like, no, not right now. That's not going to be a good idea. So he leaves, and they start doing the brainwave thing. After a guided tour by Sharon of the Georgetown house where the exorcism took place, Lamont returns to be coupled with Reagan by the synchronizer. Okay, so apparently he goes. That's 8 hours. If this is right, I don't know exactly where in New York. I just typed in New York in Google Maps, but
It's
New
New
York
York
to
City.
Georgetown, Washington D.C. is 4 hours. So that time, wait, so at the end of the movie, where Father Lamont and Reagan jump in like a taxi. No, they didn't jump in the
Train.
taxi. They
They were on a train.
they took a train, and the psychiatrist and Sharon,
Took a
who was
plane.
the took a plane and then landed. You telling me this whole thing took 4 hours? They were on that train for four. No, well, I mean, I guess it depends. Trains
It may go a
may
little faster than a car, but I mean, you're still looking at a 2.5 hour train ride. What were they doing for the 2.5 hours?
I don't know. I don't know. This is why it just seems like it's really weird because it's like 1 minute. They act like they act like because most of it takes place in New York, and they act like Washington is just down the road,
It is,
and
didn't
that
you know?
it just it and that's what kept bothering me throughout the entire movie. I'm just like the guy's like, okay, I'm gonna go to Washington. I'm gonna go take a look at the house, and then he does that. So what you're telling me is that Reagan was stuck in that like blinky machine for 8 hours? Is that what she was doing? She just sitting there staring at a light for 8 hours? So it makes no sense.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Yep. And then
whoa.
her and Pazuzu were playing with the heart.
Oh yeah.
My father was sitting there watching that. But you do get like flashbacks of Marin all, in Africa.
Yeah, so let's talk about Africa real quick.
I don't want to talk about Africa.
And the only person who died happened to fall down that really weird cliff, and that's a very awkward way to climb.
You know what? You're right. No, Sharon did die.
No, she
What?
didn't. She was alive at the end. We talked
No,
about that.
no. She died.
Because it looked like she died, but she was moving still.
Yeah, it says outside the house. Outside the house, Sharon dies from her injuries.
Oh. How lame. But anyway, this poor dude in Africa falls down the cliff. It reminded me of the scene from Hot Rod where he falls down the hill. It just seemed to keep going.
Yeah.
And then
And
he
then
gets
they're like,
stuck and he can't
yeah.
find him.
Yeah, so he was like, "Oh, because I guess you got to climb up this weird cliffside. You got to use ropes and ladders and all sorts of weird stuff to climb up this side." And yeah. I mean, she was still moving.
Yeah, so she was alive.
You know,
When
she had
that
said
movie
that,
ended, she was alive.
no, when that movie ended, she died because she was sitting there and they were saying something to her. I couldn't understand what was going on. I was kind of like half asleep at that point, but all I saw was this. They were like talking to her. She's like, she kind of like opens up her eyes and looks over and like, and then she just kind of goes, and just kind of drops her head. That's just in movies. That's a sign of death. Just when you just. But yeah, the one guy who died off screen, we never got to see him. Apparently, he ended up falling from the cliff, as they described. He fell down like a little cliff or whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, he fell down there, but there's no body down there, and he's in some crevice somewhere." I don't know.
PJ said, nah, she was sleeping.
Yeah, she had sat through this movie too. This movie was horrible. I'm just saying that as this movie
I feel
was.
like they tried to incorporate way too much into it.
The original movie was a super simple formula. You have the primary focus is this
PJ said the man that fell at some point crawled out
crawled out at some point. Crawled out of what?
the crevice.
He just crawled into another crevice?
Yeah, they found a skeleton when he climbed
That
back
could have
down.
been that could have been anyone.
So, but what I was meaning by having too much, I mean, I feel like if the movie had just focused on the going with the brainwaves and hypnosis to figure out and remembering it, and Pazuzu coming back from that, like I can see all that, but adding in the whole Africa and locust thing to me was just too much, and the constant switches back and forth. Especially that excruciating long scene where it was just nothing but high-pitched squealing the entire time.
Okay. The thing about Africa, okay? Apparently the young version of
Kokomo?
Kokumo,
Kokomo?
I always want to say like Akuma, like the guy from Street Fighter. Akuma.
Akuma Matata.
Kokumo
Matata.
apparently had some sort of healing ability or something like that. And in this instant, Pazuzu attacked him in the form of a swarm of locusts. And that's when he was doing like he had like the sling or whatever, and he's doing the woo woo woo. And he's trying to I think the Wikipedia called it bull roaring. I'm gonna click on that real quick, see what that means. The bull roarer is an ancient ritual musical instrument and a device historically used for communicating over great distances. It consists of a piece of wood attached to a string, which, when swung in a large circle, produces a roaring vibration sound. Oh. Many different cultures believe that the sounds they make have the power to ward off evil influences. Okay. So it's like a big piece of wood, and from these pictures I'm looking, it's like a big piece of wood on a string, not really a string, but um, like a rope or something, and they swing it over their heads like a lasso, like you're doing a lasso, woo woo,
Yeah.
and it makes a sound, and that's what the yeah, it didn't work. That was um that was the thing. It said dun, 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 dun. I saw it in here somewhere. It said that it didn't work. We already know that.
Oh yeah, no, it did not.
Yeah, but he has some sort of. It has something to do with like psychic powers. Well, I mean, they keep saying it's like healing abilities, but they say psychic healing abilities.
Psychic healing abilities.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, that was the thing. That was the thing. See, Father
Marin.
Marin.
Jesus.
People are gonna hate me. They're gonna flag me all over the place.
It is not that hard.
Father Marin.
Even PJ put it in the chat for you.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the Wikipedia and it's spelled Merrin. So
That's
I'm
Marin.
automatically thinking. Yeah, I know that.
Like Mary. Merry Christmas. Marin. Come on.
Okay, so Father Marin,
Yeah.
I guess he belonged to this group of people who believed that psychic powers were a spiritual gift that would one day be shared by all people.
Boy, how
Thought
wrong
people
you
like
were.
thought people like Kokumo and Reagan were forerunners of this new type of humanity. So apparently, that's why the church was very not so on board with him.
That makes sense because, back then, uh, the church was still heavy against a lot of things they couldn't explain. So it was a clash of cultures. But, like, this movie didn't get the same backlash as the original. It wasn't as good either, but it did not get the same backlash.
Mm.
In fact, everyone laughed at it. Just like me. It was more of a comedy, in my opinion.
Marin's depiction in the 1973 film The Exorcist is faithful to the novel. The character of Marin reappears in the sequel Exorcist II: The Heretic in extended flashbacks detailing an exorcism he performed in Africa following the Second World War.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
they wanted Marlon Brando.
Yeah, they had Max von Sydow come back. Um,
The character was featured again in both prequel films, Exorcist: The Beginning and Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist.
yeah, we got The Exorcist 3 and then Dominion and The Beginning.
Both films visit Marin's experiences in Africa immediately prior to his first exorcism, but each presents a different version of the events, and neither agrees with the events as presented in Exorcist II, which is fine because no one likes Exorcist II.
So, kind of random off topic. Uh, when I was doing my little stuff to get ready for the podcast, Jason, um, I found a movie that uh, I really think it's hilarious, and I'm probably gonna watch it just to watch it. But it came out in 2015. It's
2015.
uh-huh, and it involves an exorcism. It does, of a great white shark.
That sounds like a sci-fi movie.
It's called Shark Exorcist.
Everyone here in the chat wants to see Shark Exorcist on this. Is that considered a horror film?
It is. Shark Exorcist. It's an action fantasy horror, and the tagline is Satan has jaws.
Wow.
But under more like this, they have a couple other ones. Shark Exorcist II, Unholy Waters.
And this is already starting to sound so much more interesting. What's the third one?
Ouija Shark. I got two more for you.
Ouija Shark.
Ouija Shark. Um,
We're gonna do like a shark month.
oh yeah, we should. And the last but not least, Sharkula.
I give up. Well, we can't get
It's a great white.
Sharkenstein.
It's a great white with vampire fangs.
You can't get Sharkenstein or.
Oh my
And the spin-off, The Bride of Sharkenstein.
god. But apparently at some point they also made a movie called Catnado.
That's just lame. How about the shark from the Black Lagoon? So this is just getting silly now.
Oh my god.
Honey, I Shrunk the Shark.
Oh, Jason, I found
What?
another Exorcist.
Oh, what now?
It came out in 2021.
Okay.
It's called The Bigfoot Exorcist.
Do they have a Bigfoot?
A demonic cult has summoned the ultimate beast, Bigfoot, to prowl the mountains and slaughter innocent victims. The curse of Bigfoot is passed down to him. Now Claude turns into a hairy-fanged beast at night, thirsty for warm blood. The power of a nun trained in exorcism can hope to set Claude free from this nightmare.
What you just read right there? So much more interesting than this movie.
What? I don't think
that's
that's
the
a
thing.
thing in this movie, but okay. Somebody put, so there's like photos on IMDb, and one of them for this movie, for Bigfoot Exorcist, is called Foam Party.
Okay.
Oh, but it did get a 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh. Very interesting. Pretty sure it got a higher rating than this. I wanted to like this movie.
I did too. I really came into this movie wanting to like it.
I knew it was not going to be like anywhere near as good as the first one. I think I saw think I saw like a review on this. I think it may have been like the Nostalgia Critic, maybe.
Possibly.
I'll have to look it up. But one of my usual YouTubers that I watch did this movie, and I had seen it years back, so I don't remember. I didn't remember anything about that except for like this screen that you have up right now. This is like I remember this. Um, but I definitely thought there would be some more. I do like the idea where they're trying to implement that they're
They should have stuck with one or the other. They should have either did the hypnosis thing, or they should have done the Africa thing. They shouldn't have tried to do both. I think if they had focused on one or the other and left the other one out and put more focus into one or the other, I think it could have been a lot better. Both sides were interesting, and they were interesting concepts, but they were failed on the execution side because I think it's just too much trying to go into it.
this doesn't clear anything up for me. Going into The Exorcist, the questions that I had was like in the opening scenes, Father Marin had dug up that little statue of Pazuzu,
Yes.
and then Reagan's being possessed. And I even brought it up to Rick. I was like, why? Why is this like particularly happening? Is it because maybe the little statuesque thing had ended up in their house at some point? I don't know. But it was she got possessed, and then Pazuzu jumped from her to him, which did he have some sort of psychic healing ability or something? I mean, is Pazuzu just specific towards those people, or actually, you know what? You know what? We have Wikipedia here.
Oh Lord, we're gonna Wikipedia Pazuzu.
Mm, yeah, that Pazuzu took me right to there. Okay.
This movie cost $14 million to make, by the way.
Ew. All right, let's see here. In ancient Mesopotamian religion, Pazuzu, also called Fazuzu or Pazuza, was a
Pazuzu!
was a personification of the southwestern wind and held kinship over the Liluin demons. I don't even know how to pronounce that word. As an apotropaic entity. I may have butchered that one. He was considered as both a destructive and dangerous wind, but also as a repellent to other demons, one who would safeguard the home from their influence. In particular, he was protective of his pregnant women and mothers, whom he could defend from the machinations of the demoness Lamashtu, his rival.
So, here's my final question, though, about this movie. How did Father Lamont get to Africa all the time?
I don't think it was all the time. I think he went one time. And generally, the guy worked for the church.
Lamont, the main priest, he went to Africa.
Yeah, one time.
Okay. Why do I feel like the next day he was back in New York?
That's that weird editing. I'm telling you, this movie's editing was awful.
That's at least a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then a drive.
So, let's see here. In popular culture, his most notable appearance in Western popular culture is in the 1971 novel The Exorcist and the film the same name. In both instances, Pazuzu is supposedly the evil spirit that possesses the young girl Reagan McNeil. But the game House of Ashes from the Dark Pictures anthologies by developer Supermassive Games includes many depictions of Pazuzu.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which
Actually,
is a game. It's a game we need to play.
yes, because one, not that one, but the other one, the third one, I believe it is about H.H. Holmes.
We don't want H. Holmes. We want more Pazuzu. Pazuki. I mean, I prefer. I personally call him Fazuzu.
Pazuzu! Well, it is that time, though, Jason.
Yeah, we're really kind of digging in the dirt for this because this movie didn't have any sort of bite.
Absolutely not. It was trash. But it is that time for IMDb. And with 26,000 votes on a scale of 1 to 10, what do y'all think it got?
I cannot. I'm gonna be honest with you. I cannot answer this.
Sure you can. It's only on a scale
No,
of 1 to 10.
no, because when I was looking up,
Oh, you
I
saw
think
it?
I think it was yesterday or the day before. I looked up like the synopsis for this movie, and I just happened to glance at it. I never even noticed it at first, but I just happened to glance and went, "Oh, got IMDb score right there."
Well,
So
PJ said a 3. Um, I saw Ravenfire was on here. I just haven't seen her chat any.
she might throw something in here in a moment. I know she's been kind of busy today.
I
PJ just automatically no. You can't go over. You can't go over.
Oh, she
Just
didn't.
just say one for everything. That's all you do. Just say
She
one
did.
for everything.
She got the closest set because it's a 3.8 out of 10.
3.8. 3.8. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, ooh.
And now it is
Boo.
time for the Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, this one I can go for. So
All right, tomato
no,
meter.
now you got competition now.
Oh, PJ, it's that competition. And like I said, it's all fun. So, Jason, on a scale of 1 to 100, what do you think critics gave Exorcist II, The Heretic?
On a scale of 1 to 100, 26.
26?
Oh, whoops. Gotta put it down. Doo-doo. No, why is my no? Is my num lock now? Doo-doo. There we go. Oh, kick the camera.
Well, y'all both are wrong.
Ah.
It got a whopping 10%.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is by far what the lowest score we've
I
had so
think
far.
that is the lowest score that we've had so far, is a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I have to go back and look at all of our scores.
I don't think anything's beaten that.
Okay, well now I know what to set my standards at with the fans. The audience score, I'm gonna give it a 15.
No, Jason, something did beat it.
Please tell me it wasn't vacancy.
Nope, wasn't actually.
What got the worst score on our channel, Jamie?
By 2%, take a guess at to what we've watched.
8 8%.
They got an 8% on the tomato meter. I'll give you a hint. It is one of your movies.
Of course it was. My movies are garbage.
You,
It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was Silent Hill.
the first or the second?
Second.
Oh, it was.
Oh, it was the second one?
Revelations got an 8.
I don't know how I feel about that. I think this movie was much more worse.
The critics
the-
thought Silent Hill 2 was worse than this.
No, there's no way. No way Silent Hill 2 was worse than this. At least Silent Hill 2 felt like Silent in some aspects felt like Silent Hill. This didn't even feel like an Exorcist film.
All right, PJ went with a 12. Jason, what did you go with again?
I'm gonna. I think I said 15.
15.
Yep.
All right,
Probably even got lower.
PJ, you won. You were the closest. You were off by
With a
1%. The audience
13.
score was 13.
It's been a silent stream this time around.
Yeah, nobody liked this movie.
Even the fans are checking out on this. We couldn't bring life to it. We just couldn't do it.
We tried to bring life to a lifeless, horrid movie, but even Kokomo in the background there couldn't do it. James Earl Jones, even you couldn't save this movie.
He went on to do bigger, better things. As long as no one remembers the Pazuzu.
Well,
So-
everybody, that is all the
so-
time we have.
Yeah, because the next movie we've got is part 3.
Yes,
I see here.
The Exorcist 3.
I'm trying to see. Where is it at?
I got it pulled up right here.
I just gonna see if like there was.
This is the one that's got like the popo.
The what?
Yeah, it's a police lieutenant uncovers more than he bargained for as his investigation of a series of murders which have all of the hallmarks of the deceased Gemini serial killer leads him to question the patience of a psychiatric ward.
Film follows a character from the original film, Lieutenant William F. Kinderman. Oh, I know who that is. Who investigates a series of demonic murders in Georgetown that have hallmarks of the. Okay. And it's based on the 1983 novel Legion.
So this one should be a little bit better, hopefully. Hey, that's cool.
What?
It's got Scott Wilson in it. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you.
Yeah, he was at Pensacon one year. He was in The Walking Dead.
You know who he played?
Herschel.
Yeah, it is. He also plays a character in The Heat of the Night.
Patient X. Oh, this one's got Brad Dourif in it. Oh man, we're gonna get some. Gonna get some Chucky in this. The Chuckster.
Shoot, no.
What? Brad Dourif's in this.
I understand that, but you ain't gonna get no Chucky.
Oh, don't give me that. I am pretty sure Fabio's in it.
Sweet Lord, we get Fabio? That's who I care about.
Wait. Patrick Ewing? Larry King? I know they're all playing this. Well, Fabio's playing Fabio as Angel.
How far down did you go?
I'm on Wikipedia. I'm just seeing the
Samuel
cast
L.
list.
Jackson?
Samuel Jackson.
What is going on?
What is this movie? I want to see this movie now. I'm pretty sure none of these roles are like big roles because they got like
Oh, they're all
the the Linen Sisters as angels, Fabio as Angel, um, Patrick Ewing as the Angel of Death, Larry King as himself, Samuel L. Jackson as Blind Dream Man. You know, so
Fabio's uncredited. Colleen Dewhurst plays the voice of Satan.
what are you under?
IMDb.
Because this says Colleen Dewhurst as the voice of Pazuzu.
It says
There we go again. They just changing the names all over again.
Jesus.
My goodness. There are also cameo appearances by basketball players Patrick Ewing, John Thompson, model Fabio, ex-Surgeon General C. Everett Koop, television host Larry King, and an early appearance by Samuel L. Jackson in a dream sequence.
This is going to be an interesting movie, to say the least.
Oh, boy. This is...
Good night.
Oh, there's some new fun things to look at before, after we watch it for the next episode. So, cool. Okay.
Well, everyone, that's all the time we got. We will see y'all next week as we get to see Samuel L. Jackson in the Exorcist movie.
Mm-hmm.
You all have a great night, and we will see y'all next week.
All right. Later.
Years ago, an extraordinary motion picture touched our most profound, nameless fears. Do you dare walk these steps again? Death, be not proud, nor canst thou kill me. Satan grows stronger.
You believe in possession, Father?
He has found a haven.
Come to take a little blood from you, Father.
He has taken possession.
The boy had been crucified.
His web widens.
I've just never seen anything like this in 20 years.
Inside this cell,
The killer drove an ingot into each of his eyes and cut off his head.
inside a man.
Who are you? I am no one.
A man we thought had died 17 years ago.
He is inside with us! He will never get away!
Save your servant. Trust in God.
This time you're going to lose.
The real terror is back. George C. Scott in William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist II.